with the news from Trump last week. So, crypto executive order, that was the biggest thing that he really issued. If you want to, so the best one for that is going to be the tweet I sent you from Eleanor Tourette syndrome. But this is huge news. I mean, she kind of details what all is in the executive order, and a lot of it has to do with some of the things that the SEC has to do and new compliances here. So this is a big breakdown of it here from Miss Tourette syndrome. So new, per my Fox Business colleague. Okay, I don't need to read that. So here's the details of the executive order. It establishes the Presidential Working Group on Digital Asset Markets to strengthen U.S. leadership in digital finance. The working group will be tasked with developing a federal regulatory framework governing digital assets, including stablecoins, evaluating the creation of strategic national digital assets stockpile, which we've heard about. The working group will be chaired by the White House AI and crypto czar David Sachs, who's been saying a lot of bullish stuff, and include the Secretary of the Treasury, the Chairman of the SEC, and the heads of other relevant departments. The White House AI and crypto czar will engage leading experts in digital assets and digital markets to ensure that the actions of the working group are informed by expertise beyond the federal government. The executive order directs departments and agencies with identifying and making recommendations to the working group on any regulations and other agency actions affecting the digital assets sector that should be rescinded or modified. The EO prohibits agencies from undertaking any action to establish, this might be the biggest thing, issue or promote central bank digital currencies. So prohibiting CBDCs for now, anyway. And then finally revokes the previous administration's digital assets executive order and the Treasury Department's framework for international engagement on digital assets, which suppressed innovation and undermined U.S. economic liberty and global leadership in digital finance. So a lot to take in there, a lot of just kind of word salads also, but universally good. And there is some other further breakdowns about this out there. I think there's another tweet I sent you with like kind of the highlighted part of it that the way it reads would basically sound like that the RH case should just basically be over, or any of these SEC cases that they've filed in the last couple of years. But just based on this framework we've seen right here from Eleanor, what do you make of this? I mean, the CBDC thing is huge. I still think that's going to be coming down the pipeline. Anywhere the government can try to take advantage of its citizens, they're usually going to try to do it. But what do you make of this? Just good stuff.
Yeah, so the thing with CBDCs that we still have to be careful of is the fact that USDC can still be controlled, right? We know they can turn it on, turn it off, invalidate a lot of coins. So just because they say, they want to prohibit the CBDCs, be careful, because, until we get a true decentralized stablecoin, which, we may have soon, you still have to take that into account. As far as all the other stuff goes, it's basically saying Operation Choke Point 2.0 is no longer. That's essentially what all of this says and sums up in 5 words. It is good. Now, will they start throwing cases out? I don't know. I don't know what the procedure is as far as that goes. If things have already been started and they're underway, what is the history of them just either pausing it or saying, we're not even going to look at this because of the new administration, because of the new rules, the new regulatory framework that's there. It's really hard to know what they're thinking and how they're going to move forward with it. We can all hope that that's what happens. But, I think I was thinking the other day, I was like, well, so if it does get thrown out, the one thing that we don't get is any kind of clarity, right? We don't get any kind of judgment in our favor to kind of throw back at all these naysayers that say Richard's a scammer, Richard, we don't get that. All we get is a case that is thrown out, and then they come back and they say, well, it's all because the president changed and the SEC changed over. There's really been no ruling. So it's always going to be something, right? It's
Okay, so and I hate to interrupt you, but if it has to do with this, so you're right. This what I was going to say back is it is always going to be something, which means to me he could have his day in court. He could win on all counts in the fashion that XRP did, where the judge is basically like, "Hey, bitch, slap you, SEC. This is the end of the case with prejudice and all this stuff," and they'd still be like, "Well, the guy's out here wearing these clothes and he's got the diamond and he's a scammer." It's not going to matter. I mean, their
right.
minds are made up. They're fucking idiots. I mean, that's just what they do,
Yep,
in
exactly.
my opinion.
And that was, that was the next point I was going to make. It doesn't matter. There's always going to be something. So let's throw it out. Let's get rid of it. I mean, when hopefully we can move up. They've done enough damage already. I mean, you can show it in the charts of where all this has kind of led us. If anything, I think it will be beneficial for the people that are investors, to be able to move forward. So
Mm.
let's hope for that, because again, my point was that there's always going to be something.